In order to throw the spies of the Dark Lord off their trail, the travelers chanced a secret but perilous path. With only one tater to light their way, they would come face to face with an evil of the ancient world.
This is an enemy beyond any of you. I must face it alone. Folly, you fools.
That's not the line.
That's what he says in the movie. He goes, just as before he falls, he goes, folly, you fools.
No, he says, fly, you fools.
That makes a lot more sense. I get it now. Okay. Alright, so...
anyway, see ya!
You shall not pass this law!
Steve, there's no hope without you. Orcs! No, not orcs. Internet trolls. Gotta hold them off. I'll show you, libertarian. Run! I've got you covered! Oh no. I will go to Madison and protect your people. Steve, what veil was over my sight?
I was fighting the Balrog.
What happened?
I fell, and he fell with me. We fought from the lowest chasm to the highest peak. It was pretty epic. It was a good fight.
Well, how did it end?
A bloodbath. Violence. Horror. I just not to think of it again. Okay, fine. You're my puppy. Let's find a puppy dog. Oh, I love my puppy dog. What happened to him?
Oh. Sean Bean character. He had to die.
Hey everyone, and welcome to my tube. My name is Steve.
And I'm Chris.
And this week's episode is all about environmentalism. To me, I think environmentalism is a good thing, but has become a bad thing.
Yeah, like most things, it just becomes another pretense for abridging the rights of ordinary citizens.
We should start off by saying what we think climate change is, personally. I personally think climate change is real, and I don't know if it's man-made or not.
Yeah, I'd go with that. We might contribute in some fashion, but to what degree? Jury's out, man.
It's correlation causation. You know, is the rise of these gases a correlation to the rise of the temperature of the Earth? Maybe.
Yeah, it's hard because I mean there have been previous warming periods pre-industrial, so I don't know.
Yeah, to me you have two options with climate change, and those options are you have God's plan and you have science's plan. Now, if God is real, then there's no point in worrying about the climate because it's part of His plan, right? I agree. Thanks for helping. If global warming is an issue, and it is man-made, then eventually science will fix it.
Yeah, I really don't think this is something we couldn't figure our way out of. We've faced worse before. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the panic is all about.
Conservation is actually a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. That helps everybody.
Yeah, and the idea of reduce, reuse, recycle is actually not a bad deal. I think one of the things that we can agree on, and I think even libertarians can agree on, is parks. How we agree on them is an issue, but I think we can agree on them. State parks and federal parks, and having land set off aside that no one's going to build on or use, and you can go visit these parks and camp and hunt and whatever, is a good idea.
I see no reason at all why that couldn't happen even in the absence of a federal government. I mean, there's enough people who care enough about that to where they would buy this land, set it aside, keep it pristine.
I like national parks. I mean, if you look at the parks in Wisconsin, the state parks, they're really well done. There's they're fairly expensive, and I think they actually kind of pay for themselves a little. So I don't see why somebody wouldn't want to just take over, maintenance of them. I mean, maybe they could get a coworker for that poor park ranger that's out there. You ever see that guy? The park ranger? He's like always by himself in the little hut or whatever, and you go there and he's like so happy to see you. You're like, how's it going? Oh, great, buddy. How you doing? All right. What are you out here doing today? That guy.
Always so happy to see you.
Yeah, he is. He's super happy to see you. And you're like, aren't you the guy from over on the other side of the state? No. We just all look alike.
So, where are we at right now? Conservation? Good. How did it go bad? I say modern environmentalism started to place nature over people, which is just silly because people are part of nature, too.
No. We're a virus.
We must be wiped out.
Get rid of all humans.
Some of these people just seem determined to see us on the endangered species list.
Ooh. Every time they try to affect a different species, they end up hurting another one or making another one go extinct or something along those lines.
Or sometimes ridiculous amounts of overpopulation after we've managed to save a species.
And it's kind of like here in Wisconsin we have an issue with the Asian carp, and if we did something that maybe like eats the Asian carp babies, then all of a sudden we might have like, I don't know, a rain of toads.
It's my favorite video game.
Rain of Toads? It's a video game?
Should be. So I guess the point we're really trying to make here is stop helping.
And I think that pulls us to our next point, is environmentalism as a religion.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, this whole humans are evil and we're destroying the planet. The planet's going to be here long after us.
This was never a question of destroying the Earth. The Earth's gonna do just fine. The Earth's gonna slough us off like a bad case of dandruff, before we can really do anything to hurt it.
Yes.
But yeah, there's certain common sense things I think we can all agree are good ideas. Basically, don't piss in the pool.
So this environmentalism as religion has led to the call for government action, as most of these things tend to do. And in 1970, the government got involved by creating the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. One of the interesting things about the EPA is it is one of the only government agencies that there is no congressional oversight. The president appoints the EPA director, and Congress doesn't get to vote on that person.
No, government tends to have problems with accountability in the first place, but man, if you don't even got people voting for you, or the people really who could say no to your appointment, that's even less accountability, and I think we're starting to see that one come home to roost. And with a little bit more about how government has used our tax dollars just so wonderfully, my tater in arms, Jessica Baird.
Hey guys, so my problem is not as much with the government being in our pockets with this one, because they're in our pockets about everything. The thing that's special about this is that it's for a really stupid reason. Being environmentally friendly is not a joke. That's a good thing to do. And I feel like conservatives have a tendency to take on oh, well, that's stupid. No, it's not stupid. But the way we're doing it is stupid. there's no point in trying to reduce emissions, putting all this money into reducing emissions, and we're doing almost nothing to reduce them. Really, in the end, the end product is the same. We may have reduced them quite a bit, but the numbers in comparison to what we actually have is nothing for the most part. And why spend all that money to reduce emissions when we can just put all that money into an electric car, program, or a hydro car program? There's literally already been invented so many different types of cars. Not all of them are on the road, but pretty much any type of car you could want, you could have with the technology we have, but we're not putting any real money into it. And that kind of bugs me, because what bugs me more than taking tax dollars is using that stolen tax dollars for a bad purpose. It's like someone stealing your purse and then they just went to the 99-cent store and just maxed out your card at the 99-cent store. It's like, really, you could have bought anything in the world, you maxed it out at the 99-cent store? That is what I feel about this entire business. It's stupid. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. And we could have such a more clean environment if we weren't too worried about maybe the certain political people that have their hands in the oil industry. Not pointing fingers for your guys' sake.
No, that was well said. I personally like what you said about how the government is taking our money anyway, so why not use it for good instead of evil?
Yeah, I mean, as far as what they've taken from us already, spilt milk. Why wasn't it used to really work on cleaning up technology?
Exactly.
Yeah, we can't play dumb. We know why. It's oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of power methods other than a fossil fuel. It seems like a clear case of protectionism.
And it's ironic because one of the best ways to make energy cleanly and efficiently is electro dams. But some people in the environmentalist community are fighting those because they kill fish.
Yeah, I mean, how many fish are going to die if we rely on nothing but fossil fuels?
Exactly. And wind and solar just don't have the reliability that you need. When you're trying to install solar panels on your house, the government has all kinds of regulations and rules you have to follow. Well, let people do what they want to do with their own property and get off the grid and stop using regular power and supplement their power with...
I don't want you off the grid.
I know. One of the things they say, you have your reduce, reuse, recycle. The most important is reduce. Stop wasting crap. Then reuse, if you can't stop using it, try to reuse it. And then there's also recycling, which is the same as reuse, but
they want it 3 R's so bad.
Yeah, you can't have like two things. You have to have a third thing. It's like a rule.
Yeah.
The most important thing to recycle is aluminum cans. Like paper, there's no point in recycling paper. A lot of you might not know this, but there's actually more trees in America now than there was when the settlers came to America.
If you want to get past the whole tree thing, you could just decriminalize hemp. I'm just saying.
No, we can't do that. That'd be too easy.
Much too easy.
The only thing that actually works for recycling is recycling aluminum cans. These little fellas right here.
Yummy.
Nice. Because the market actually has value in these cans. You can take... I don't know if you did this as a kid, but we did. We would get a big garbage bag, and we'd fill it with aluminum cans, and you take it to the recycling place, and they'd pay you money. It wasn't always a lot, but they'd pay you money. Well, they paid you on weight. What I would do is I would take a battery, because it fit in the hole. I'd take a battery, and I'd put it in there, and then I'd crush it as small as I could, and I'd put it in the bag so that it would weigh more, and I'd get more money. That's not defrauding a company, is it?
Kinda is.
Something they seem to be pushing on us a lot is green as a selling point. Everything's green. Every company's green. I'm a green company.
Let's just be honest about this now. It's a money-making gimmick for the most part.
Mm-hmm. They try to slap that green label on anything. They're like, it's green!
Yeah, you got companies being all like, hey, our bananas are green. They biodegrade.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little handy package. You just rip the package open, you eat your banana, you throw it on the ground, and after a couple of days, it's gone. It's green.
Green bananas. Don't eat a green banana.
Oh. One of the other things that government regulates, and this is mostly in bigger cities, around like ginormous cities like LA and Houston and whatnot, is smog regulations in cars. You have to get a test every year to get your car tested to make sure it's under a smog level. You know, and as libertarians, we both pretty much agree on what we think about the government being involved in smog regulations as a whole. So we're just going to say it together just for fun, just to kind of a cute little way to end the video.
Get it over with, yeah.
Yeah, so are we for it or against it? For it!
Death by dank means.
The Constitution's actually a pretty good piece of paper. The reason why I'm for government smog regulations is because as a libertarian we tend to think that the free market will handle everything. This is a true statement. The free market will handle everything. But the free market works slowly sometimes. And in the case of pollution, the free market might work a little slower than we need it to. And in a lot of the big cities, Houston, LA, New York, there was a huge smog problem, and the only way to fix it was to regulate the amount of smog coming out of vehicles. So the government stepped in, made regulations. It was a pain. I lived near Houston. We had to do it every year. It sucks, but it worked. If you look at video from LA in the 70s and 80s to video now, it's clear skies. There weren't clear skies before that, but there are now. But thanks to government, the smog has actually cleared up, and it would have taken 20 to 30 years or so for the free market to actually do what the government did in a very, very short amount of time. Now, I'm not for government regulations for everything. Sometimes they overstep their bounds, but sometimes government does get it right.
Okay, the reason I'm against government smog regulations is because, first and foremost, I don't believe any government entity should have the ability to confiscate, essentially, your personal belongings. I don't say it's not a good cause. I'm saying there might have been better ways. Kind of landed in this problem, like as we sort of obliquely mentioned before, as a result of government interference in making cars cleaner sooner. And who should pay the price for that? Not the citizens. I don't think so. The effectiveness of it? Yeah, during that same period, emissions lowered, but how much of that is the whole correlation equaling causation fallacy? Cars got cleaner during that same period. I don't know if we can really pinpoint it. Form that it took eventually. Back in the 80s, it was, let's check the stuff coming out of your tailpipe and for smog, and at least that seemed a little bit reasonable. Now it's become, oh, we've got to check for CO2, something that trees make. This is not affecting people's ability to breathe, people's ability to see. You gave them an inch, they took a mile one more time. As for the free market being too slow, well, it is probably slower than some massive government regulation. Massive government regulation always shows good results at first. But there are people who floated free market ideas to help with smog. I don't know if you've heard of a man by the name of Don Rosenberg from the Netherlands. He's an artist and inventor who created something called the smog tower. It's been demonstrated in Beijing, in Paris, and it used ionization to filter the air. Now this would require more work in order to become something sustainable. As far as how's it going to be paid for, well, he thought of that too. The smog, the carbon that's collected out of the smog, he's learned how to make into little onyx-like jewelry, which he sells. We're not there yet, but we could find a free market solution for smog. I don't think the cotton gin happens until you say slavery is unacceptable.
Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the YouTube things that you enjoy doing.
And just floating this, there's already a MUH viewers and contributors Facebook page. Come check it out. I'll add you. I'll add all of you. More, all the viewers.
Alright everyone, have a nice night.
See ya. Handsome fighters never lose a battle.
I don't really think that's going to be much of a problem.
You must defeat Shang Long to stand a chance.
I don't even know what that means.
Shang Long is Japanese for taxation is theft. Ron Paul is not a libertarian.
He ran as a libertarian.
I ran out of funny things to say.
Yeah, me too.